A movie called The Contractor. When military men, Army usually, Marine Corps, I think, when they get out of service, all that skill they had while they were in service went with them. And now they're going to go back into a civilian job that's going to pay crap. Of course, they get basically low pay while they're in the military service. A lot of them decided to put this stuff to use. Um, they either form their own company or go work for somebody who will pay them a better salary, you know. Um, monthly, a better salary. I give you a good example. George Soros, the big billionaire financier, has U.S. Marines, former U.S. Marines protecting him. Yes. Many billionaires will have former military protecting them as bodyguards, you know, drivers and drive around their bulletproof cars, what have you. Yeah, and you can get companies that are formed to do basically bodyguard work, and they're very highly skilled people. Well, this contractor was in the U.S. military, Army, and in the Army you get two choices. You got many choices. Either you sit behind a desk, or you're out in the field. What happens when you're out in the field? You can get killed, or you can be severely damaged. I knew somebody was put almost 30 years in the military service. And when he was a little bit younger, he could jump out of a plane. And he did it. He jumped, got his wings and jumped out, you know, gun hole and everything else. And one day he jumped out of the thing and shattered his leg. Yeah, you know, okay. And to this day, he's in pain. And it can be, he says, some days I like jumping out the window. I'm in pain. But there are two types of pharmacies in this world. We have the civilian type and we have the military type. And when you go get pain pills from the military type, they know what pain you're going through. You could pull lower back muscles. You've been in the military service, very likely if you went to war, you get hit by concussion. Maybe not the direct shrapnel of the bomb or whatever they explodes again, but you get hit by a concussion. That concussion will rattle your brain, like a football player gets hit in the head enough time, or Muhammad Ali got hit in the head enough times. Basically, it rattled the brain. You can do that almost the first day. Get hit with a concussion, it rattles your brain. Maybe blow out your eardrums, push your eyes back in your face. And you can even bite your tongue. But it does something else. It pushes a pressure against your rib cage. Yeah. Okay, we got this guy, and he's going out. And you got to remember this: when you sign up for the military at 18, you're expected to have the same physical ability at running X number, run a mile under this conditions, and do all this stuff all the time. You know, on a yearly thing, you're required to do that. Or you're sitting behind a desk. But even if sitting behind a desk, you can't get fat and lazy. You have to go out there. And I've known, that's what said one of the guys who were there. I'm seeing him. He comes home and he's resting. Every day he's out running a mile and doing all this physical stuff. He says, "You want to join me?" I said, "No, no, 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 nope. My heart won't take it." But he's out there, and He puts a lot of time in, and he's in pain. Well, he's going through, his head's caught up to him. And he's maybe 30 years younger than I am. And he says, I'm in pain all the time. And if it wasn't for the pharmacy in the military and the military base, at this time, Great Lakes or Maywood, he'd be screaming. I'd be jumping out of a window. He can't do very much. Yes, he says, what is going to happen when I'm 80 years old? Yeah. Instead of 50. Like when I'm at your age! I don't think he's going to last that long. He hit, as he said, he had too many mortar rounds dropped around him. See, he never got hit with a bullet, but he had a lot of concussions around him and did major damage to his brain, his eyesight, his hearing. He says, too many times. Now, he has a son who basically went into West Point. And the son, well, I'm going to get my, he jumps out of a helicopter, sliding down a rope. He broke his foot. Well, there goes the Special Forces. Yeah. And to this day, well, he stayed in requirement time. And then as soon as he get out, with basically the pension, he did. Because he was in pain. I can't do this. They're requiring me to run. As the time I got into West Point, I ran with a 60-pound back on the first day with a 60-pound backpack containing rocks. And he did that mostly through 4 years of West Point. And he says right now, I can't do that. Well, back to the contractor. He gets mustered out because they find THC in his bloodstream. It's from the prescription drugs that the military gives them. But the commanding officer said, oh, I don't want any of you people in my outfit. Okay, I'm quite sure he wasn't the first one to get there. But they threw him out of the military with no pension. So the guy basically goes through whatever savings he had, that thing. And he gets offered a job from one of his friends. And the job was how would you like to work for a contractor? Well, simple stuff. Good pay, very good pay, and very easy assignment. 2 or 3 weeks and our thing. We go protect clients, or we do other stuff. Well, he said, the boss that he was seeing, guy says, I'll pay you $50,000 to start. Give you a check right now, cashier's check. Wow, what do I have to do? We have a problem over in Germany. There is a guy, a scientist, who's into biological warfare. And he has developed something extremely deadly, and he's going to sell it to the highest bidder. And we have to get that information, samples and what have you, from him. Easy job. You follow him around. You look at him. You'll follow his. You find his routine, and then one night we go in there and we grab everything. So they do. They would drive up in a van, black hoods and everything. They take out the guard in the front. Easy. His fingerprints opens the doors. His thumbprint does that. So they basically get into the place, and then they got into the guy's lab. He's out there working, and they grab him. Wow, you're going to destroy the world. We know what you're doing. Well, actually, they don't know what he's doing. What he was developing was a vaccine for COVID-19. Okay. Save millions of lives. Cheap, doing that. And, well, this guy doesn't know anything about it. All he knows is this scientist is a bad person. And he injects him with a drug. And they decided they brought in liquid, gasoline or something that day, to burn the place down. And they did. The guy set the computer room on fire. They grabbed the laptop, okay, and they're leaving. They're going back to the van. The police show up in force. Oh, they're not supposed to be here. They show up in force. Guns a-blazing. So they have a little firefight. And the woman there, she gets shot. And one of the guys there who got wounded, he dies. And they run for their lives. One of his friends gets shot, and they go through a drainage canal and the transfusion and the whole thing. Well, the guy gets out, and he actually looks at the computer, and it turns out he realizes that it's a vaccine. Well, by this time, the guy who hired him puts a contract on him. Yes, you can't have loose ends. So the police are after him, and the guy who hired him is having him killed. He gets calls in, where are you located, where are you located? And he realizes he's being set up. And yeah, on open streets, they shoot him. Now, what happens? He kills his pursuers, right? And he flies around the country. And as a, quote, special forces person, he survives. Gets back to the United States. And he contacts somebody, and the guy looks at him and says, "You're dead. I was told you were killed." He says, "Do you know what we did? We killed a scientist who was creating a vaccine for a plague." What? Yes, we got caught. And the guy said, "If they find out that you're alive, they're going to kill your family. They're going to kill my family. They're going to kill me. We're loose ends." So he basically says this: what are we going to do about it? Well, there's only one thing we can do about it. What's that? Kill the people who hired us, or they're going to kill us. So they drive out to this farm occasion. One guy gets out, and there's a little firefight there. The guy shoots him. Other guy that's the contractor, goes after his boss, and his friend gets killed. And his boss, he kills his boss. His friend is going back, way back. I think he dies of his wounds and that, so he burns the truck. He burns the information. Burns the weapons, cooks everything, and vanishes. And he doesn't make contact with his family, because he knows right now he's dead. If he makes contact with anybody he's known in the past, they're dead. Because you never know. The contractor who got him the job, paid him that thing, right, got paid by someone else. And that someone else will say, "I don't want loose ends." So it'll be just the same. they would hire a person like me to go look after people like them. Sure, yes. And your dreams, boy, your dreams. So that's basically what the contractor thing. Now, put it this way: they had 20 producers on this thing. Their locations is in Germany, Berlin, right? Farming that thing, London, Los Angeles, basically Georgia, and the budget is between $40 and $50 million production. And it looked that way when you see the credits and location units. Yes, they spent $40 to $50 million for the thing. Wow. And guess what? They made $2 million at the box office. Ouch. Real ouch. Now you know why movies are such a risky thing. Did they expect? I don't, these days, unless you're doing a Walt Disney movie or you're doing a comic book movie or somebody like that, I don't know how people, you have multi-locations, you have hundreds of extras, and you got a crew, you're running credits for 10 minutes on the end of the DVD. I think it's a real good action-packed movie, yes. Will I buy the DVD? No, I will look at it, yes. I will comment on it, yes. I understand the contractor and I can't say I physically understand the pain that a contractor like that would go through, but knowing people in the military service, when they're 18 years old, they're gun-ho. By the time they're 38, after 20 years or 30 years, when you're born than that, in your 40s, you're not 18 years old again. You're not going to run as fast. You're not going to lift the weights as fast. You're not going to move as fast. It's like the military says, they're over the hill. Bye-bye. Let's get rid of them. We can't send them to a war zone. Maybe the Gulf War, boys, but we can't send them to a war zone. Those times have passed.